go. Hey guys, welcome to the Canvas Cast, episode 2 redo.
Yeah!
We're here with Brad Gentry, myself, and Josh Little. I am Canvas Cam. Welcome back, Brad. This is take 2 of our first attempt at getting this podcast down.
Take 2.
Take 2.
Yeah.
Hey, you win some, you lose some.
I can explain.
Yes.
No, you can't.
My phone's kind of an asshole, and we recorded like an hour and a half of a really good podcast, and then it just froze, and it was all gone, and R.I.P., man.
R.I.P. So now it's Friday, it's 6:30, it's time to party with our good host, Josh Little, and myself.
Yeah!
Little Wayne's World segment. We're out here, we're having a few beers on a Friday night, and so we're sitting here with Brad Lee Gentry, Prismatic on Instagram, and so we're just going to go over a few topics. We're going to talk about his creativity, his band, a few different events that he has coming up. And, Brad, welcome back to the show.
Howdy.
Let's get into the most important thing. I wouldn't say the most important thing because there's 2 very important things. But number 1 is tell us about the shows you have coming up. One of the big ones is Spooky Bash. It's gotten pretty known around Bakersfield the last few years for being crazy. Yeah. Cops getting called a bunch and not caring and letting it go on.
Yeah.
Tell us when and where and the deets.
Well, we got Spooky Bash. That's later this month. We actually have a show this Tuesday at Jerry's Pizza. That's October 9th. It's all ages, $10 at the door. I have this band called Young Heezy from Canada coming through. A really good band. My band as well will be playing Kaybab and the DeWalt Corporation and Johnny Cage. But that's that show. And then we have the Spooky Bash, which is October 26th, which is a Friday, the Friday before Halloween. And we got 10 bands playing. So
can you name all of them?
Off the top of my head, let's see. My band, Kaybab, Johnny Cage, DeWalt Corporation, Civic and the Sun from LA, Sweatpants, Early Nights, let's see here, Elk Grove.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot, but it's all good.
Content,
the Vices, The Fool, and there's one more band. Holy shit. Who am I missing here? Oh, God. Put me on the spot, man. God damn it.
We'll come back to it when you think of it. So tell us a little bit about Spooky Bash. Like this is your 3rd one. The first one was in your old apartment, and that was crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, that was pretty good. It wasn't too crazy. The New Year's Eve show was crazy.
Yeah,
that was
true.
The one that should not have happened. But
yeah, I couldn't even.
It didn't
get
make
into your
sense
apartment.
that we got away with that because there were like 200 people plus at this apartment complex. It didn't make sense.
I was working that night.
Yeah.
But the Halloween show, I mean, we got a good turnout at that one. It was pretty cool. That was the first year in 2015.
Where'd you do it last year?
I did it last year at Jerry's Pizza as well.
Cool.
Did it at Jerry's Pizza, and then the year before that at Jerry's Pizza too.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it at Jerry's Pizza the past 2 years. The first year was at my old apartment. This year will also be at Jerry's Pizza. We're expecting a pretty crazy turnout.
I've got to say, this one kind of feels like the most legit one.
This one is going to be a banger. I think it's going to be
a slapper.
Well, because you have a pretty stacked roster right now, too, which last year you only had like 4 or 5 bands.
Well, all of the previous Spooky Bashes I've had have like a range between like 4 to 5 bands.
Yeah.
This year we're definitely doing it big with 10.
Are you doing upstairs and downstairs?
No, we're starting at 6 o'clock and we're going all the way to midnight. And I have a very strict set list.
Tight schedule.
Very tight schedule.
There you go.
I might not even have fun that night.
It's going to be a lot of work.
It's going to be a
lot
lot
of
of
work.
work.
That costume.
Yeah, that costume.
Yeah, the costume. It's going to be great.
Tell them what the costume is, Brad.
I'm going to be Saitama from One Punch Man.
Yes, and if you want to see this costume, look him up on Instagram, Prismatic.
That's PRSMGC.
Yes, because it is legend. Wait for it, dairy. It's fucking amazing. So, like, it's so spot on that I legit like cried a little bit. I don't even watch the show, and which I'm going to soon because Brad recommends it highly.
Absolutely.
But man, I was just like, I was so happy about it.
You need to watch it before Halloween for sure,
True.
so you got some context.
True.
How much is the show?
Spooky Bash. If you show up without a costume, you're paying $10. But if you come with the costume, it's $5.
Half off, baby.
Yeah.
Can I wear
All ages?
Can I wear my old Guitar Center thing and be like, I
Come on,
work
man.
at Guitar Center. I gotta try
mean,
more.
It is kind of spooky, but it's not.
I gotta try more. All right.
I'm just
I gotta
gonna
try
buy a red shirt and some red pants, wear my Deadpool mask, and be Fatpool. So
That'd be dope.
I'm gonna draw on the shirt the Deadpool costume.
There you go.
But then I'm gonna put something on the belly of it saying like Fatpool or something like
What if
that.
you get khakis and a red shirt and show up as a Target employee?
That'd be cool.
Will that work?
Well, no.
No.
I can just get a Target shirt on Amazon. Or
Remember
something.
last year when I was Jason Mraz?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what the fuck to wear.
Yeah.
So I had like some hipster douchey hat, and then I had a ukulele that I tied a string to
Yeah.
that didn't work at all. And I was like, yeah, I'm Jason Mraz, and
Yeah.
nobody thought it was funny.
Remember 2 years ago when I went downtown as Batman?
Oh yeah.
And we were
dude.
I remember taking the costume off because
Oh, that was
way
the same
too
time.
hot.
So that was 2 years ago. That
Yeah,
was when I did it.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. I was Batman, and we were downtown. We were at the Mint, and I had enough of
Dude,
this
he was like, I need
costume.
your keys.
Yeah, I was like, I had to take this suit off. I put my backpack in the back of Josh's car, and his car got broken into or something.
It got
and
stolen.
It got stolen out of the back of his
Oh,
car.
man.
Luckily, that was the only thing in that backpack. Because usually I walk around with a backpack, and my everything is in that backpack.
Yeah.
My planner, my sketchbook. I've got my hard drive in there, so I can like go back and forth from the office to here with all my design stuff. I would have died. So.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was
they came up, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
I'd
on
say.
a sick ass Batman
just see
costume.
some homeless guy walking
And-
around with
and
a
there was-
Batman
there was-
costume.
I know, right? There was no mask. There was
Yeah.
no, I still have the
Yeah, we
mask
still have the
somewhere.
mask.
Yeah.
All right, so Spooky Bash. It's going to be on
The 26th.
the 26th
The
at
Friday
Jerry's Pizza.
before Halloween at Jerry's Pizza.
That's gonna be great. That's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all of us have grown up at Jerry's Pizza.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
they have new ownership, which is cool.
Yeah.
It seems like they're trying to do better things there.
The pizza's
So-
a little bit better. I'm not gonna.
Is
I
it?
had
Yeah.
2 slices of pizza today, and I was like, "Ooh, damn,
Dude.
this pizza's
Is it
good."
less greasy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's less greasy.
Awesome.
It's got a lot more flavor, a lot more marinara sauce on the 250 slices. So I was like, "Yes, perfect." It's not burnt either. So
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, the new owners, they used to go to shows, so
yeah,
they are coming into it like, they're really trying to get the business itself better, but also trying to bring together like the local music scene too. Like
There you
they've
go.
been really active with putting on events and stuff, so
That's good.
it's looking pretty good.
oh yeah,
Awesome. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
And then the next thing we need to talk about, you mentioned it earlier, Kaybab.
Yeah.
Kaybab dropped a new album.
Yep.
Yep.
A few weeks ago. A
It
week
was
ago?
actually around a month ago.
Oh, it was around a month
yeah.
ago.
The 7th last
Yeah.
month. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
I listened to a few of the track, or I think I listened to the first 2 tracks because last time, the first attempt at this podcast, he brought us some CDs. The raps on it are nice, like the cover, on the actual CD printed on it, and dude, the packaging is dope, man.
Yeah.
It
Like,
looks
really good job.
professional.
Designed it
Yeah.
all myself.
Yeah.
Look at you, just,
Yeah.
just so artistic.
Yeah.
Well.
Slow down a bit. We've been through a first attempt at this, but now we know what we're saying. But let's slow it down a bit. Let's stop getting through these topics. So, Brad, let's talk about Kaybab. Where did Kaybab start from? Where is it now?
Well, Kaybab started around 2015. I was in this band called Habitats, which was also my band.
And that is the name of your album.
That is also happens to be the name of my album. But I was jamming with some other guys. We were playing live downtown, and then after a while, I realized that there was another band called Habitats that was kind of blowing up, so I kind of abandoned that, and then I decided to name my new band Kaybab after the street I grew up in.
Shout out Northeast side of town.
I always
straight
kind
up.
of wondered where you got the name from. So that,
Yeah,
that
it's
explains
actually the funny thing is, okay, so growing up, I grew up on Kaybab, which is actually spelled Kaibab.
it. Okay.
Everybody called it Kaybab growing
Okay.
up. But the funny thing is, I looked up the name, and it actually is pronounced Kaybab, and it's a Paiute term meaning
Cool.
mountain lying down, and it's the name that they gave the Grand Canyon.
It's pretty dope.
So I was like, okay, well that shit's dope, but I still like Kaybab. I don't really like Kaybab. I mean,
Yeah.
I think like the idea of like it's still Kaybab in my
Yeah.
mind. Growing up, I grew up on Kaybab, not Kaybab. So
Yeah.
it's like it was a cool little idea I kept with, and I like
For sure.
the meaning of the name. So
At the same time, I grew up right down the street.
yeah,
We didn't know this until a few years ago. We were talking about
There
it.
you go.
yeah,
Yeah, Brad grew up like right behind me for a little bit.
yeah. Missed opportunity. We
And
could've
I
started
lived way far away in the Dale.
Shout out 08.
Shout out the Dale. Shout out Corn.
But yeah,
Uh,
so you went to the mountains.
Oh yeah, well, okay. So I started this band Kaybab. I changed the name. I did a little tour with Los Davidos in 2016, I believe, and that was pretty cool. And then I ended up getting Robert Morgan in on drums and James Dandy in on bass, and we started jamming together for about a year. Played some shows, got some tracks together, and then James suggested. Well, I was thinking about we needed to record an album, so James suggested Emil because he has a studio up in the mountains, and I was like, hell yeah. Because that's the kind of studio space I'm looking for. Like,
Yeah.
I want some isolation. I don't want it to just be, we drive to a studio and like go in there, lay down tracks, and we're done and go back home. Like, I want it to be an actual experience where I'm going somewhere and I have literally nothing else to do except work on this record,
Yeah.
or take a break from this record and go out to the fucking
Yeah.
wilderness. And,
That must have been absolutely beautiful, too.
yeah, it was awesome. Like, just the fact that, I mean, we were knocking out tracks, and sometimes, we'd get a little exhausted, or we would just not nail things as well as we should, and Emil would just be like, stop, go take a break,
Yeah.
let's go hike, let's go walk down a path and, like, get some nature in us.
Yeah.
So that was really fucking cool. I mean, Emil was surprisingly a really good producer.
Oh, yeah.
We wouldn't have gotten this album done as quick and as well as done if he wasn't involved at
Yeah.
all. So
That's
Shout
good.
out to me.
Yeah, quick plug. He is so you guys were kind of the first to go do that, the first to go
Yeah.
record a full album there. He totally produced it. He did all the mastering. He did pretty much a lot of the work on it.
Yeah.
And just a kind of little free plug. He's trying to do that with other bands.
Creekside Sound.
Yeah, hit up
Yeah.
Creekside. That's if you wanna vacation.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude! That's what it's all about. It's
A
about
work-
the
a work
experience, about the
vacation.
environment. It's about the vibes. You want to record an album with feeling good and being in the right headspace, and being in
Yeah.
that spot. Fuck, I mean, it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I could imagine where it's like kind of being out in the wilderness like that, recording an album. It kind of frees up your mind a lot because
Yeah.
we tend to get like isolated as like creatives. We tend to get isolated in our home space. Whether it be mine is I have my little desk set up to where I do graphic design. You have your house where you do the same.
Yep.
And it's got to be really, really freeing to be able to get away, enjoy the environment that you're in, and just to take a break away from playing music and recording, being really, really focused in on what you're doing, and then taking a break and then going outside and being like, wow, the world, this nature is just absolutely gorgeous.
And you don't really have any other distractions. Like, you don't
Yeah.
really have your phone. I mean,
Mhm.
there's Wi-Fi up there, but you don't really have like other things to like distract you. You get if you're taking a break, you are taking a break, like
Yeah.
a legit break from everything, and you're just relaxing.
Yeah.
And having a good time. We would spend our breaks. I mean, and even when we were done doing work, we would stay overnight and we
Yeah.
would drink and have a great time, just hang out. And honestly, like before we even started recording the record, I knew Emil, but we weren't necessarily friends. We're more acquaintances.
Yeah.
But after that experience with him, like we quickly got like really tight. Like
Oh, yeah.
he's a really cool dude. Me and him like connect on a lot of levels. And also the thing I appreciate about Emil is brutally honest
Oh, yeah.
about things, which I totally appreciate
Yeah.
from people. It's like people don't beat around the bush and they're like, oh yeah, no, that's great, when it's obviously shit.
Yeah.
He does not do that. He's like, that was crap.
Yeah.
It's crap. Let's do it again.
That's funny.
So it was.
Have you ever done that to strangers though, like random bands where you're like, I don't want to be an asshole.
Hell no.
You've
Hell
never
no.
done it where you're like, I don't want to be an asshole, so I'm just gonna say like, hey man, really.
Oh no, yeah.
Where you're like, hey man, that's.
I've never straight up told them like,
no,
that's just not the venue for it.
Yeah.
Man. Like if you're working with them, it's a total different thing. And
Oh
if
yeah,
you're both
for sure.
benefiting from this being a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes, you're gonna want to put yourself out there like that. But when you're seeing a band and it's just a train wreck, I mean.
Yeah,
I don't even bother talking to the dudes.
Yeah,
but if
you don't go out of your way to just be like, hey guys, man, that really blew. It's everything's networking. Whether you're playing shows, you're meeting new people, you're playing with new bands all the time. Because I remember, like, when I used to run the gate, if I were to tell a band that I booked that came in, man, you guys were terrible, which there were plenty of bands like that. If I were to tell them that, well, they'd never come back.
Yeah.
And they would say if I was in a band, they'd never want to play with us again.
Well, that'd be almost beneficial in a way.
I mean, beneficial, but at the same time, it's like creating that space to where people feel comfortable. Because that's, why we did the gate in the first place. We want a safe space. We wanted to create like a safe space to for people to come and express themselves.
Dude, the gate really felt that way too.
Right.
I remember I had like all the really dope ass rugs on the wall, and it was just like, dude, I was like, I feel less like I'm at a church and like I'm at my friend's house.
Yeah.
And the gate was hands down my favorite place to play shows. I only played like two, and I was like,
it was such a good place to like be a part of too.
Yeah.
Like those are some of the best times of my life. Is just like working a gate show on a Friday and Saturday night. And, just being able to connect with the bands, pay them out at the end of the night and just be like, hey, guys, you did great. Some of them didn't do great, but, hey, guys, you did great. Thank you for playing. Like, here's a little bit of cash to get you to the next place, or even if you live here in town, here's some next cash to get you motivated to keep going, keep getting better and better and better. Well,
I think I think we could all agree in terms of like our best memories as far as like the music scene are when the sense of community was at its height.
Yes.
And everybody was buddies. Everybody felt like they were part of something.
Yeah.
And it's like, that comes and goes. It's
Very
been
much.
coming and going the past. I mean, ever since I've even gotten to like a music scene, it is come and gone.
Yeah.
And you still make friends along the way, but you also, you make friends and you lose friends.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Would you say you felt it the most in high school?
I would say I felt it the most when I first started going to shows when I was like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll ever peak like that ever again. Even like when I first started booking shows like in 2015, and like I got a lot of bands together, and it felt like sometimes it was getting to my head because I was getting all these bands together and I was getting all these people together, and it seemed like I was making this huge circle friend group and like everybody was super cool with each other, and I was like, I did this.
Yeah.
But like it never even touched what I was experiencing when I was a kid. But then again, I was a kid and I never even experienced anything like that before.
Yeah.
So I was like part of the hardcore scene.
Yeah, same.
I mean, I was a fucking dork back then. I wasn't like like a hardcore kid by any means.
Yeah.
I was just brought along, and I just like got addicted to going to these shows.
Yeah.
And watching people punch each other in the face.
That's why I think that all three of us went through that.
We were all kind of part of the hardcore scene, and I grew up kind of like listening to Green Day, and like I listened to a lot of like punk rock and stuff, and then casually, I think the next step up from punk rock when you're young is obviously kind of like hardcore music. So it's like, I went through like the My Chemical Romance days and Fall Out Boy and stuff like that. But when I started working the gate is when I really, really fell in love with the hardcore, the hardcore scene and the people. Like some of my closest friends to this day are people who, still listen to like hardcore music and like metal and stuff like that. And, we have that, just that respect that, we were in the scene together, we've been through some shit, because the hardcore scene, it's almost like a family. So where it's like you get in, you meet your friends, you go to shows, doing all that stuff. You get in the pit, you throw your arms around and stuff like that, you flow your arms around. But you're so safe.
Yeah.
And it's almost like if you come in to the hardcore scene, a lot of people are kind of afraid of those, like, that scene and those kind of people. But then you have those other people that think that they're a part of it, and they come to these shows and they'll be stupid and they'll just randomly hit people because they think that's what they're doing. No, it's like a dance.
Yeah.
You're flailing your arms around, but there's like a strategic.
You're just expressing yourself.
Yeah, there's like a strategic way to do it to where there are those assholes that hit people and and it's all in good fun. But then those other people are brand new to shows. They'll come in, it's like, oh, I can hit people, fun, and then they get their asses beat because they're not a part of it.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're not allowed in the club, like you can't sit with us or anything like that. But it's almost like you gotta be a part of it first, and then you can have fun. Like Corey Keaton, he can go in there no problem, and mosh a little bit, hit somebody, and there's still a mutual respect there. If no one knows you and you hit somebody the same way Corey Keaton hit you, oh, you're fucking dead, dude. You're going outside and someone's gonna fight you because you just hit one of their homies.
I remember I was just some scrawny ass kid with like curly hair, and I was like, yeah, I like to play drums. Yeah. And everybody was super, super nice to me. Yeah. I remember being so intimidated, like my first time playing shows at like the Gate, the Boiler Room, and Jerry's. And I was just like, dude, there's a bunch of mean ass dudes here, and I was like, dude, I'm so new to this. I was like, I think I was 15.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I was instantly accepted. Everybody was super nice. I was like, man, like any of these dudes can beat the shit out of me in a second. But everybody was really, really, really nice, and that's what I think. With us growing up with that, I think that's that feeling that we chase when we do local shows, like with Brad doing Spooky Bash or any of the shows. Yeah. I think that's what I mean, and I think that's like the goal with Phil Cella, but I don't know if that's.
I don't know. I think back when you're a kid, I mean, nobody's thinking that they're going to be fucking. I mean, they're obviously hoping that they're going to be, but at the end of the day, they're all just kids, and they're all just trying to do something. Yeah. They're all just trying to, be a part of something.
Yeah.
As adults, it's like you have all these other factors coming into it, so it's hard for people to really connect and really build that sense of community because it's maybe a sign of the times where people are just more skeptical about, having these large groups. And it goes both ways. I mean, there may be people that are just like, they're either like, I think I'm better than everybody else, or, I don't want to get too close to anybody, but I still want to play I still want to have an outlet for music,
Yeah,
so
sure.
And there are people in the middle that are just like, why can't we just be cool with each other and just have fun? But, they're on the one side it's just egos, and the other side is just people that aren't willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. I mean, maybe as a kid, you're ignorant, you're kind of oblivious to what's really going on.
Yeah, very much.
So maybe that shit was even going on when I was going to a show as a kid, because I wasn't playing these shows. I was just going to see it, and it just seemed like such a perfect thing. And it seemed like all the bands were friends. Everybody was cool.
But they kind of were, though, because I remember... Dude,
they were.
The first show I ever played at Jerry's was with a band called Blue Monday. Mm-hmm. And this was, like, my band's first show was with this bigger touring hardcore band. And they were hands down the nicest people I've ever met, dude. And this was, like, our first show. And we were probably terrible. But they were like, dude, thank you so much for opening up for us. Like, thank you for being here.
That's cool.
We had a lot of fun. And I don't know, with the hardcore thing, I kind of got that vibe right away. It wasn't really until I got, not talking shit, but it wasn't really until I got more into the indie scene. Yeah. And that's when you and I kind of started hanging out. Me and Brad started hanging out a little bit more, when I was just like, man, some of these people fucking suck.
Dude,
like,
I will tell you, the indie
you guys think
scene,
you're so cool.
Yeah.
The indie scene is full of very toxic people. It's
dude.
It's very interesting.
Because it's weird, because it's like hardcore music is a very aggressive style of music,
but everybody's really friendly.
Everybody's really cool. Because I remember, we'll get back to indie in a second, but I remember I looked up to a band called O Sleeper for a very, very long time. I still do. I love their music to this day. And then my band played with O Sleeper, and the band came up and said, "Hey guys, thanks for opening up." It's kind of the same story. They came up, said, "Hey guys, we really liked your music, this and that." At that point, we got, we were pretty like solid as a band, because we had Ryan Whittington writing helping writing our music and stuff. So our music was pretty solid. So they came up, they said, "Hey, it's really cool. Like, you guys did really good. Thanks for opening up for us." But then, also, I am very into indie music now, and I've noticed this big shift in scenes towards like hardcore music, very, very humble people, very aggressive style of music. But then you go indie, and it's just like, I'm pompous and I'm cool, and I'm cool for listening to this music.
I mean, not to say that that's how all indie bands are.
Yeah.
I mean,
very much.
I mean,
Yeah.
A good reference of that is Hate Drugs. They're
Yes.
the most humble dudes I've fucking ever
100%.
seen, and they're the most successful indie band in Bakersfield
Yeah.
right now. But yeah, I mean, you'll see. I mean, it's just kind of a trend. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. I don't know where it comes from. I mean, maybe people can think that I come off like pretentious and shit, and I wouldn't blame them. But I really try and keep myself in check, and I always try and stress the fact that I don't think I'm amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just doing what I'm doing. If
Yeah.
you don't like it,
You're doing
that's
what you love.
cool. I mean, it kind of sucks because I want people to like my music, but
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I'm not gonna fucking like think you're like a super dick because you don't like. If it's not your thing, then it's not your thing.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It seems like, and it may not even just be the music. It just might be just the people in general. Like, I mean, with the hardcore, it's weird because it's like an oxymoron. Like, you have these hardcore guys playing really aggressive music, and it's like they get all their aggressions out playing the music, and by the time they're done, they're just like, "Hey, bud, like, what's going on?" And then you have the.
I won't even lie. I was in a hardcore band, and I was a very angry person before that. And when I was in a hardcore band, it humbled the crap out of me only because I'm yelling in people's faces and no one's getting upset with me.
No, dude, it's extremely therapeutic.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
like,
oh yeah,
it's like the indie people. It's like you know, they're playing this music and then it's like, oh, you know, chill, happy. We're all chill.
Dude,
like,
it's kind of feel like it's gotten to the point where it's like, the bigger you're like, the more you look the more you look not interested in your music, the cooler you are. Yeah. And it's like, dude, why the fuck am I paying money to watch you not want to play your music?
I disagree with that sentiment.
You haven't seen that?
No,
but you haven't seen it. No, but that seems like the vibe though. Where
I've seen it, but I think the fucking coolest musicians are the ones that look like they're
and that's how we feel.
Yeah.
But when I dude, like every time I go to shows now, even like with bigger bands, and I'm like, dude, act like you want to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's a show. Yeah. You're putting on a performance.
Yeah, you're an entertainer at this point.
Like, at least act like you want to be here.
Yeah.
Don't just stand there facing your fucking amp, playing guitar the whole time, and then just walking off stage.
Yeah, not moving, being a zombie. Honestly, that's why I liked watching the Chariot so much live.
Fucking mind blowing, dude. They're so crazy.
Mind blowing. R.I.P. the Chariot. But yeah, dude, I remember going to a Chariot show. It was one. I actually got to see one of their last shows on their last tour, and man, they went all out. This dude was climbing up on the walls. I saw him at a festival one time. He climbed like the whole stage to where it was like 50 feet up in the air and hung upside down. And his name is Stevis on Instagram. But man, he was like fucking playing his bass upside down, hanging from the rafters. I was like, that is amazing showmanship. Yeah, dude, it was so fun.
It's what I was like saying, like the point I was getting to with like, you know, the metal people, it seems like or hardcore people, it seems like they're getting all their aggression out where they're playing, and then by the time they're done, they're chill. But it feels like, you know, maybe the indie musicians are like, they're just so repressed. With their shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, that's just a theory. But I mean, coming from myself, it's like, I feel like there are some songs I've written where it's like I feel like I'm getting out that, you know, frustration or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously I'm not fucking doing pig squeals and shit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I totally agree. It's like I said, I don't know what the new vibe with music. It just, and especially when it kind of gets into like this new surf rock that's gotten pretty big lately.
Yeah.
It's really like,
I think it's on the down end.
It is. You know what? Yeah, it kind of went away. But I've always noticed where I'm just like, dude, like at least pretend you want to be here.
Yeah.
Like, do you even want to be in this band? Are you having fun?
I know when they were like, I won't name any names, but there's this one drummer that I know that he'll play and he won't look like he wants to be there at all, and it's just like he doesn't even look like he enjoys playing drums. And I'm just like, and I'm just like, do you want to be here? Like, I'd enjoy your music a lot more if you at least looked like you were having a good time.
I'm trying to think of who it is too.
I don't know. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mouthed it. Well, the world may never know, but we do.
But
the world, all like 40 of our listeners.
But I will say,
I've seen him play drums many times, and I would say maybe sometimes, but I have seen him play drums where he's into it.
Yeah, that's
good.
But
that's another point is that, you know, going back to like the mentality of indie musicians, a lot of them just don't give a fuck. They have no respect for venues. They don't have any respect for, you know, people doing things for them, and you know, they'll fucking show up to shows fucking wasted, or they'll show up to shows sneaking alcohol in.
Yeah,
They'll try and sneak underage people into 21 plus shows, and it's like, you know, like why,
I remember.
I know exactly.
I'm not saying that's part of him. I'm just saying in general, like there are multiple bands that are guilty of all this shit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I will honestly say I've been a part of bands that have done this shit, and I got on them about it. Yeah, and they just don't give a fuck. They think
because you're kind of putting your band in a position to where, do you want to play this venue again or not?
And they can't play those venues again.
Yeah,
they can't,
and it sucks. And
now there's so many in Bakersfield.
And I remember seeing Ken hashtag shout out Sandrini's Sandrini's. I remember this person came into Sandrini's and was like, Ken walks up and goes, "Hey man, you can't be here." He was like, "Why?" He was like, "Man, I kicked you out like 2 years ago." He was like, "But I'm 21 now." He was like, "I don't care. You came in when you were like 19 years old and you were drinking and I had to kick you out. I remember your face. Get out of here."
Yo, low key, I went there when I was like 20.
Did you?
A bunch of times. But I was super
you're
respectful.
86 now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was super respectful. I never ordered beer. Like, I had my friend order a beer, and I was just like, I had one beer then left.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I was like, because I didn't want to be a dick, dude. I didn't want to be an asshole. Like, this was the cool bar.
Dude,
I didn't want to.
I never went into a bar before I was 21.
Nope.
I drank beer. Like, me and Eddie Ortega, my old roommate, we would get PBRs and we'd chill at our studio apartment and we'd just drink beer and watch Friends and stuff like that. I went to a few parties and stuff. I never went to a bar.
Yeah.
My first bar was on my 21st birthday, and it was Sandrini's.
I was also a good kid that didn't do anything.
Yeah,
you shouldn't do
that. But I also went to church a lot back then, so obviously
that was those days.
Jesus was watching you.
Jesus was watching me, man, and he pointed his finger, but he said, "Hey, you didn't go to a bar."
Yeah. So with Kaybab, you've been doing Kaybab for. I mean, it feels like a while. It feels like a lot of things have added up to it.
Yeah, a couple of lineup changes. Song changes. I mean, I've been writing a lot of music for a long time, and honestly, this album is just a culmination of most of the songs I've been writing. As I'm just glad to have it finally out, so I can move on to new shit.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of relatively new songs that I've written on the album, but a good chunk of the album is shit I wrote like between 16 to 20, 22 years old. Just songs that I fucking loved and I've been working on for a long time. Yeah. But, yeah, like, I mean, like I said, we went on a tour in 2016. I had some guys from Los Davidos back my band, and I toured with Los Davidos, so it was really convenient. It was really fun. It was an awesome experience. I fucking love that. I miss that experience, honestly. Yeah. But, yeah, the past couple of years, just me, Rob, and James have been locking these songs down, and finally got to a point where we wanted to record an album, and we felt like it was the right time to record an album. And so we did it, and now we did it. And now it's just about playing shows, and we want to play out of town. We want to kind of get our stuff around, but as soon as we have a bit for where the record can kind of go out there and it can digest, and you know people can get exposed to it. I already have shit lined up to record again. Like we're actually going to start approaching it with the nowadays. Like, I mean, people come out with albums, but a very common strategy in terms of a band is to start releasing singles or like 2 songs at a time. It's not necessarily like trying to build this whole album and record it all at once. It's more like singles. And it's just, and it makes sense with the age we're in right now where it's digital, and people are like, you know, what's
relevant.
the next thing? Like, you can't just come out with an album once a year and be relevant unless you're, you know, fucking amazing. But as a new band, you know, you want to keep coming out with content.
You want to have merchandise. You want to be able to travel with the things that you know you're proud of and stuff like that. It's easy for you to tell people, hey, go listen to us on Spotify and stuff like that, but to have that like physical thing in your hand to be able to offer people you're playing in front of, like that's got to be satisfying.
Speaking of this record, where do people listen to it at, and how?
Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, SoundCloud, Bandcamp,
anywhere.
Pretty much any
YouTube,
any streaming.
99-cent store.
Not 99-cent store. We'd like more money than that. Walmart. No. I mean, pretty much most any streaming platform,
Yeah.
and if you come to one of our shows, we have albums. So.
Hey, CEO of Walmart, I know you're listening. Pick up the Kaybab record.
I don't know if I would want
I don't know.
my album
in Walmart. Yeah, no.
I mean, that means
The fuck are you talking about?
That means
I
you
wanna-
made it.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'd want the money with the album.
Hey, how do I find your record on Spotify?
Put on Kaybab, dude. Kaybab.
Beer.
All right, I'm gonna
time?
tell you. Yeah,
Beer?
I'm gonna bring up. You have that song "Current"?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'll take one. Thank you. "Current" was a super good song, dude.
Yeah.
I listened to the whole album. The album was perfect, front to back.
Yeah, did you listen to it on that car drive?
Yeah, I listened all the way home, dude.
Hell yeah.
I definitely listened all the way home, and I was like smiling the whole time because I was super excited. I don't know, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I get happy when my friends put out music or put out anything. Like, it makes me super happy.
You listen to it front to back?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
I
That's the
I
way
wait.
to do it.
I wait for my car rides from here to Valencia or Valencia to here, and I listen. That's like I wait for my podcast. That's when I listen to my podcast. Whenever I want to listen to a new record, that's when I listen to it. So no, it was I was super impressed with it. It sounded great. It sounded professionally recorded.
The standout track was Current.
That for me, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm also super peculiar about my music.
Are you stoked about the odd time signature? Is
Yeah,
that
I think
it
that's
was?
what it was. I honestly think, I was like, dude, because like the first minute, I was like, I'm trying to figure it out.
It's some weird shit like 5,
Yeah,
12 or
it's one of those
whatever.
things
I
where
don't
it's like,
know.
if you didn't write it, it's gonna feel really weird and strange.
No, I wrote that shit, and I had no. This is the thing. I have no formal training of learning music or
Yeah.
any of that shit. So when I wrote that, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's like what is that? 3/5 or some weird shit," and that makes no fucking sense musically.
Yeah.
The way I thought of it was, you count in threes and you count 3 5 times, and that's what it is. But apparently, it's something completely different, and yeah, I don't know. It was cool because I've had the people that have like. They've heard that song. They're like, "Dude, I fucking love that song. That's such
That's
a
a
weird
great song,
time
dude.
signature." And
It's
I'm
a
like,
great song.
"Yeah, I just wrote it that way. I didn't think that signature through. I just wrote it that way." So it's really interesting to see people that are more musically inclined than me being like excited about that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Also, the group vocals on the last song was fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Yeah, it was a good record. Like I said, dude, I try not to be an asshole when I judge my friends' music, and I try to be really nice about it, but it just comes out, and I'm just like, I really don't like this. But no, I genuinely 100% liked it. It was a great record. I mean, definitely
I'll
recommend.
tell you straight up, like, after listening to it I can't tell you how many times I've listened to that album since I released it.
Yeah.
There are so many things I could have changed, but then at the end of the day, it's like, man, it's decent. It's good. I'm glad it is the way it is, and now it's we're gonna be promoting that and we're gonna be playing that, but now it's like moving on. It's in terms of being an artist, a musician. It's like that's done. It's out. It's there for people to listen to.
Yeah.
Not for you. It's not your problem necessarily anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it is my problem, but I mean, just saying like conceptually, it's not my problem. I need to start worrying about the new stuff.
It's a good goal to reach because you get to it and you have this sense of accomplishment and you have something you can be proud of, but also you're like, okay, for me, and I'm sure with you because we're kind of the same when it comes to music, you're like, all right, what's next?
Yeah.
Like it already pushes you into like, you see what you could have done better, so you want to write a better album the next time.
Yeah.
And I think that comes through when you listen to artists. You can tell which artists actually care about writing their next record and which ones don't.
Yeah.
And so I think it came through, and I think it's a solid starting out point for this band. I think it's a really good introduction to what it's about and what you guys are trying to do.
And I mean, I like the way it came out. And it's like, I think the only way we could go from there is up, like in terms of quality and in terms of songwriting. I mean, we're gonna get better.
Definitely.
I mean, I already have stuff that I'm like, holy shit, like this is like, it's different than what we just put out, but it's better. It's still the same. It's Kaybab, but it's new. It's better. It's fresh, and it's like it's moving towards something.
Yeah, definitely.
So I hope I don't have like any pretentious people that are like, the first album was better. The first album's the best. They're not even gonna get better than that. And it's like, no, we're gonna get better. Like we're gonna get better. It's gonna be fine.
Well, that's the thing about like no matter how good you are, you're always still kind of in a sense practicing and getting better, and getting your like getting your craft, you're crafting your thing way better, and
with
and
everything.
just,
I mean, not just music, with everything.
Because it's like for like you and I, it's like we're artists too. Like we both do graphic design and stuff, and it's like we're never gonna get to the point where we're not gonna get better. You know, we're never just gonna come to the place one day and be like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm as good as I can get.
Yeah,
you know, that's not gonna happen, and so you know. To write an album and, you know, have people go like, oh, the last one was better. Well, you know, everything's practice. You know, you're just kind of moving forward.
Well, even then, if people said that, it's like, oh, cool. Like, you like the last album, cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're not that anymore. But...
Good job.
Goddamn cell phone. All right, Kaybab, Habitats, solid record. Definitely recommend picking it up. Are you going to have it for sale at Spooky Bash?
Yeah,
and your next show?
And our next show. Yeah, we got shirts, we got pins, we got
and you
albums.
You have a show next Tuesday, right?
Next Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I'll be working that door.
Yep, Cam's gonna be working the door.
But yeah, talk about Tuesday show. If we can get this thing out by Tuesday, you know, the listeners can.
Tuesday. Well, Young Hazy is from Vancouver, Canada. He's on a world tour. I discovered him like 3 months ago on Spotify, and he was a badass, and ever since I discovered him, I followed him, and it all came down to, you know, one day he posted, oh, I'm going on a world tour, hit me up about having me play somewhere, so I hit him up,
awesome,
and it came together, and that's usually, honestly, as a promoter, that's kind of how you get people to come play.
Absolutely.
You just follow them, and you see they're trying to book a tour or something, you hit them up, and most of the time, they'll and if you have the legit connections and you can pull it off, they'll come back to you.
Yeah.
And they'll make it happen.
Oh yeah.
So I got him, really good musician. It's like almost on the turn. It's almost on the level like Mac DeMarco, but like a little bit more funkier, groovier. He's got his own sound, but it's comparable to Mac DeMarco.
There you go. You're not gonna piss him off by saying that, are you?
No, no. And then you got the DeWalt Corporation, which is fronted by Tanner DeWalt, good dude. I've known this dude for a couple years. He's been in a couple other bands before, but always.
What kind of music are they?
Indie pop.
Because I hear about them all the time, and I've yet to see them.
Yeah, they're just chill indie pop. I mean, they kind of go all over the place, but they're really good, really solid musicians. They just got Devery play lead guitar for them.
Oh, dope. Dude,
yeah.
What happened to, what was it, Magic Mammoth?
Oh, yeah, that was Tanner's old band.
Oh, he was in that band.
Was he?
Was he? That band was cool, dude. That was a good band.
Actually, no, I don't think... Wait, was he in that band? I don't think he was in that band, now that I think about it. But they were in the same group.
Okay.
They were all chilling out. I think their bassist moved out of town, and they just stopped getting active.
Nice.
For sure.
How is Devery? I've never seen him play.
Devery is, you know what's crazy? Is he's actually a really good guitarist.
Really?
But he hasn't played music for a long time, like live, like out in the open, like
gotcha.
been involved in.
Because I know that he plays music. I've just, I guess that makes sense if he hasn't played in a long time. You know,
yeah.
But yeah, I've always been curious.
No, he's really good.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
actually excited to see him play because he's gonna play the
Tuesday
show. So,
awesome.
Yeah, and then you got that band, and then you got Johnny Cage, which is this band, up and coming band. They've been playing for about a year now. Well, not even a year. Shit, maybe less than a year. But they're these girls that just graduated high school. They put together an indie band, and
awesome.
They're fucking blowing up.
Dude,
they're
awesome.
really good. They got some catchy tunes. They got a great following. And they're getting some pretty good exposure. So,
dude, awesome.
I've booked them a couple times, and I think they're great.
Dude,
so,
there's like this rise, which I'm really, really enjoying. There's this like rise of girl bands that are coming up. I don't even know how you would refer them as a band, chick bands, girl bands, whatever. But, dude, some of these really, really talented female musicians are coming up out of nowhere. And I'm really, really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I mean, honestly, you shouldn't define the band because they're
because
girls,
they're females, yeah.
But, I mean, they're good because they write great music and they got good stage presence. They got that. And honestly, there are people that are like, the appeal is because they're all girls.
Yeah.
And that's just something you can't avoid.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
That, for me, it's like, I mean, they're all girls and like they're young. My thing is like they're young and they're just getting out of high school and they're hitting it and they're doing good. So I'm like, Yes,
Yeah.
I want you guys. Whenever I'm booking a show, I'm gonna hit you guys up because you guys have the following. Like I think they're great. So
That's cool.
yeah.
What's the name of their band?
Johnny Cage.
Shout out Johnny Cage.
Like Mortal Kombat. Johnny
I love
Cage,
it.
yeah.
I fucking love
Hell
it.
yeah.
I'm gonna definitely go watch that.
Yeah.
I won't be there for Tuesday's show, but I will be there for Spooky Bash.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into Prismatic. Let's get into what that is. It's a collective,
No.
a brainchild of Bradley Gentry.
Yeah,
third.
That would be more accurate. It's more. I mean, Prismatic has been a thing I've been putting on for shoot. I think I first came up with the idea like 4 years ago, and it's not. I mean, it's just the name I'm going under. It's Prismatic Studios.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more of a studio thing.
Yeah, I do graphic design. I have a lot of experience with print. I have a lot of experience with social media. I mean, I do pretty much anything you want to get put visually. You can come to me and I could figure it out.
There you go.
I've been doing a lot of freelance work for the past couple of years. I've been involved in the industry professionally for about 4 or 5 years now.
That's awesome.
Doing print work, design work, branding, you name it. I probably have been involved with it. So, you know, I come from an illustrator background. I mean, I started getting into art by, you know, drawing superheroes and shit when I was a kid. I mean, I read a lot of comic books and drawing video game characters. I was really into like video game concept art and shit as a kid. So yeah, I mean, that's where that all comes from. I do all my own poster work with promoting.
Put out some cool hats.
Put out some hats. Put out some shirts. I've done some work locally for some businesses, and
you did those Tumblr shirts, which were dope.
Tumblr shirts, and those are sold out now.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, I you know, put in my work. I've tried to apply whatever talents I happen to have, and you know, it's been working out pretty well. And I try and mix it with, you know, being a promoter and being a musician. I feel like I have an advantage over a lot of promoters.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Because I could do my own posters and I could do my own, you know, social media, and I can make things look clean and nice. And just being a designer and, you know, working at a design house, I have the mentality of, you know, what looks good? What do you really want to you really want this to be put out there, or do you think you could put a little bit more work into it and make it even better?
Absolutely.
So I'm all about that mentality, and you know, I see the things that other people do. I mean, I drive around town or I walk around town, and I'm constantly looking at design. I'm looking at designs at shops, looking at fonts. I'm looking at design choices. And
Doesn't it get annoying?
It gets super annoying.
Man, because I cannot go anywhere without my eye glaring over at some just design or like an advertisement on a sign, and I'm just like, I could do better.
Yeah.
I could do better.
Well,
And
I mean,
and it's just, it's one of those things that is being a graphic designer that you'll never not be able to do.
Honestly, I like that.
Yeah.
Because that means that I can compete. You know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I could stand out, and I do stand. I mean, not, you know, toot my own horn or anything,
Yeah.
but I am tooting my own horn. I can stand out when I can.
Well, it's
Absolutely.
different. I think, like, if you went to LA, you'd be like, holy shit,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a really good design.
Yeah.
Bakersfield, I mean, there's a lot of room to, you know, stand out here.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm not saying there aren't a lot of great designers, because there are. I mean, one of them is sitting right across from me right now.
Thank you.
Great designer. I could think of another handful of designers as well, but yeah, it's an interesting industry. And you never finish. You never get as good as you can get. You always, the thing with graphic design is you always strive to be better. There's no room for you. There's no room to not get better. You know, like yeah.
I 100% agree. You know, I feel like I won't stop a design unless it's a personal job. If it's a personal job, I'll like, all right, I've gotten to the point where I can stop. This is good enough. But if it's for somebody and I know it can be better, I'll even email them or I'll text them and I'll be like, hey, I need like another day or two because I really, really want to square in on getting this thing as perfect as I can get.
Yeah.
Back when I was young and I thought I was a professional graphic designer, I could just shit out something and be like, this is great, here you go. But now, man, I'm so fucking picky. There was a design I was working on last night, and I sent the guy a finished draft of this, what I thought was good. He didn't quite like the font, and so I told him I need an extra day. And I did tell him, like, hey, I'm working on this an extra day, so I'm gonna have to charge a little bit more. And he was like, hey, I don't have any more funds to give, so we'll just side with this. And I thought about it for a second. I was like, do I really, really want something that he's not fully satisfied with out there? Now, granted, I'm not going to do this for everyone to anybody listening, but this guy's an old friend, so I told him, I was like, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. I want to make sure that this is perfect for you. Yeah. And I feel like you and I are kind of the same, to where it's like you don't want anything that you put out, any work that you put out there, to not have the 100% stamp of approval. Yeah. And because it's like that's our baby out there. Yeah. We're making somebody else look good, and if that person thinks that their logo or their merch doesn't look as good as they wanted it, but the designer did, there's a level to where it's like, you should trust your graphic designer because you hired them, they are the artist. But at the same time, you want that person to be pleased with what they got.
Yeah, but it has your name on it, man. You don't want somebody to be like, oh, Cam did that?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to be like, oh, Cam did that?
Yeah, exactly. Now, I have had people in the past, and it hasn't happened in quite a while, where I'll do a design, I'm paid out for it, and they'll be hyping me up and doing all that stuff, and they never use it. Excuse me. And then I'll figure out later on, it's like, they just kind of like, and this is like when I was 20 years old, and they'll tell me like, oh yeah, you know what, we got it, but we didn't use it because it wasn't quite there. And I'm like, you should have just told me. Yeah, like everything's everything's a learning experience. Like, I would have loved to see that out on a shirt. You paid me $300 for it, but you didn't use it because you didn't be completely honest with me. Now I feel like that design could have been better, and I'll look back at it and I'll be like, yeah, this is great. Yeah, I guess I can see where they kind of wanted that.
I think it's hard though. Have you? I mean, you guys probably haven't dealt with it because you're really artistic, but it's like, have you ever been to a tattoo artist and you're like, this is really what I want, but I don't know how to put my words onto paper? Yeah. Where you're like, I don't really know how to tell you what I'm going for.
Trust and believe.
Yeah.
That is a a frustration with clients.
It is.
They can't really explain.
Yeah. It
almost feels like you're wasting your time because they're not giving you exactly what they want. And they know what they want, but they can't articulate it. You're just, exactly. Sitting there trying to figure it out.
And we're such like a visual type of people to where it's like anything that comes from our mind, we'll be able to like kind of illustrate it out in words. And so for people like the design I'm working on right now, he comes to me and goes, I don't really know what I want. Red flag right there. Yeah. I was just like, oh man.
Why are you coming
exactly. Exactly. And so I just asked him a series of questions. I've learned over the years to kind of like, they know what they want, but now how can I kind of dig that out from them, and then they eventually they'll understand, or they'll finally be able to put it into words. And so it's like I asked a series of questions. So with this design that I'm working on right now, I asked him, okay, so what's the meaning behind your brand? And it's called Fit Kingdom. Shout out Justin Chestnut. I'm working on your design right now. But I had to literally kind of dig into him a little bit, being like, all right, so what is your brand about? All right, so you have a fitness brand and training guides and stuff like that. You want to train people. And I had to ask him, like, certain questions, like, what is it about, this and that, and we finally formed it around where a crown was a part of the logo, but he wanted it simple, like another brand that I'm familiar with. And so I kind of played around with some ideas, and we finally, with all those questions, he was like, yo, man, brother, because, that's how fitness people talk. They're like, yo, brother, that's so good, I'm blown away. Yeah. And, from there, it's like you kind of learn how to pull those facts out of people without them actually even knowing. Yeah. So,
I think what it is for us being artistic, we kind of, it's almost like we speak in a new language where it's like we speak in our own artistic language. Yeah. Where it's like, for you, like if I was trying to describe like a drum part, I can mouth it, and it would sound like utter bullshit to somebody that has no knowledge of what that is, and you would be like, oh yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Or when it comes to like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that don't really know how to speak in a creative language.
Yeah.
And I don't really know. I don't know how to get that out of somebody. I guess it's just I mean, I think a lot of your job is not babysitting, but steering somebody into what do you want? Like,
Definitely.
If you don't know how to, like, if somebody came to you and didn't know how to speak your language, and you're trying to ask them what they want.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty much what you're doing when you work with people. I mean,
and
you'll get a random one where you're like, this person's like, this is what I want, 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 and you're like, okay, cool, this is going to take like 5 hours.
For sure.
But yeah, I think a lot of it is, you get a lot of people that are like, I think a cool logo, obviously a cool logo is going to sell their stuff a lot better. Yeah. I think Timler did a great job of going with Brad, because what Brad did with Timler was perfect. I think he completely embraced what Timler was going for.
Absolutely.
But I think it's hard. I think a lot of people don't really know how to speak in a creative language.
Yeah.
And then there's also been a trend, with technology where, I remember when in high school, like, nobody really listened to the music that we listened to except for, like, our friends, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of what it was. But it's like now, with like Spotify and iTunes, just how accessible everything is. Everybody almost kind of speaks in that language.
Yeah,
everybody speaks in that musical language and knows the music they like, or the arts that they like, the movies they like, and it's awesome. It's awesome that we're living in such like a world of creativity.
Oh, for sure.
But you still do have people that have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And then they think that your job is just the easiest job ever, because you sit at a computer.
I know.
And they think
hands down.
They think that you should do it for free.
Hands down, that is the most frustrating thing. Is because Brad and I, we put years and years and years into this trade that we're so in love with, and the fact I still get people saying every once in a while, and it pisses me off. A friend of ours, he'll kind of poke fun at me sometimes, and he'll go like, "Oh man, all you really do is you sit behind your desk and you draw for fun and you draw for money. That's not hard." And I'm like, dude,
it can get really fucking frustrating.
It can get so frustrating. It's like, you try to do what I do, please, and it's frustrating. And so those same people hiring you, thinking that you're like, they're doing you a service sometimes. Yeah. Where it's like, man, you're hiring me to make you look good, and that's what I've spent so many years. You get some
exposure, bro.
Yeah, I know, dude. I
can get more exposure than you.
I had this dude.
We get those requests on our Canvas.
Yes, all the time. I get messages on Canvas. We get messages on Canvas all the time where it's people go, "Hey man, if you send me a shirt, I'll take a few pictures of it and post it. You just got to give me a free shirt." And I'm thinking, dude, you have about 500 followers.
Yeah.
Do you really, really think you're gonna do anything for our brand? I was like, I would gladly give you like a percentage off or something, and send you a shirt. That's fine. You do your thing. But it's like, we're running a business. Yeah, we have fun doing Canvas shirts and Canvas hats and stuff like that. I have to plug this. I'm wearing a Canvas 5-panel hat right now. You should buy one too, because they're dope. They come in gray and blue and got a nice little Stay Creative patch on it. But anyway.
Was that like navy blue?
Yeah, it's like a navy blue.
Yeah, it looks nice.
But it's like, we have people that think that they're doing us a service or they're helping us out. When at the same time, it's like, no, you know what? You're hiring me, or you're interested in our brand.
Yeah.
Obviously, you like the shirt. You want to wear the shirt. Just spend a little bit of money on it. And, dude, later on down the road, if you buy enough or you stay connected to our brand and you become like a friend of the brand, dude, we'll shoot you a shirt. It's all of these people that have this expectation that you're running like, a hobby brand or something like that. When really it's like, as adults, we're taking it so seriously. What we do, you doing graphic design, me doing graphic design, Prismatic, Canvas, like my Instagram and stuff like that, where I do a lot of graphic design, people still think it's a hobby. Unless, I would say like 45% of the people I grew up with or I know just randomly, they still think I do graphic design as a hobby, and I'm like, no, man, like, this is my entire life.
This is like, how I eat.
And this is literally how I pay my bills and how I, provide for myself. And it's like, it blows my mind. Kind of taking a few steps back. Now we're talking about like, trying to grab the creativity out of people. They can't exactly explain what they want. They come to you, it's like, I don't really know what I want. Hardcore bands, they're the easiest people to design for.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, they're the easiest people to design for.
But going back to that, like, the frustration of trying to get out of people what they want.
Yeah.
That's where my strategy has always been, hey, let's meet up face to face.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring a sketch pad, and you're just going to spitball me some ideas, and I'll sketch out some stuff. I mean, not obviously it's not going to look nothing like this, but just the general layout of things and the
all the time.
General idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had meetings where super successful because we had that meeting, and we just totally blew that miscommunication out of the water because we met up in person. I'm able to sketch things on the spot and come up with ideas on the spot because some people are like, I don't know what I want. Yeah. And that's honestly, you can't really fault some people like that because they just don't have the mind for it. They don't know what they want. They don't know what's good. Yeah. And honestly, like the people that are like, you should do whatever, I trust you. Yeah. Like those, most of the time, those jobs are really fun because you have artistic freedom and you 100%. I mean, it's not like you're just doing what you want to do. You have the brand in mind. Yep. You know what they're doing. You know what kind of image they're trying to get across. So you can work, if you're a good designer and you're aware of design trends and stuff, you can adapt to that. Absolutely. But some people, like, they say that and they're like, oh, just do whatever you want, and you spend hours on it, and then you tell them what you're going to do. Yeah, exactly. And you end up doing it and they're like, I don't know, and it's almost like,
you have to pay me now. Yeah. And we'll start from scratch. That's
why I do deposits
here,
now.
Dude. It's same. I always do
estimates, and you pay half of the estimate as a deposit. Yep. FYI. Yeah. If you want work from me, that's how it is.
Same here. If you want work from either one of us, that's the way it works. I've done it for a really long time. I don't like going by hourly anymore because that will turn people away. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if I'm confident enough in what I do to where I can do an overall cost and I feel comfortable with that. If you don't like it, then hey, you can find some guy who's just going to do less. It won't be better. It won't be better. It won't be better. And here's the thing. It's so a question that I have. I don't know how. I never get in town work anymore. And a majority of the jobs that I do get, I have to talk to them over email or Skype, or so I've FaceTimed a few people because I just don't get people in Bakersfield anymore. Really? I get people in Southern California, or I get people in across the country, stuff like that. And it's only because I'm so well submersed in the fitness industry now with my day job, to where I meet people, and I do a lot of fitness logos now, which is kind of, I don't necessarily enjoy fitness logos as much as I do. I do enjoy them, but I don't enjoy them as much as doing a hardcore shirt or designing for another brand or something like that, because I do that. I have a brand, but I love designing for other brands because it's so much fun, and I get to encourage people like, hey, this isn't competition. But how do you deal with people through email getting the right idea down? Because what I do is that I send them, if I know I've never either met them, or if I've never met them or I've met them before and we're on Instagram or anything like that, I'll send them a document saying, what is your brand about? What are you initially looking for? Send me some examples of other brands that you really, really like. If you're wanting a t-shirt, what style of t-shirt do you want? And do you want any text, font? What do you want it to say, etc.? What do you do?
Well, I mean, professionally, my day job, I work at a print shop. Yeah. I work at New Generation Graphics, and I'm a designer there. So a lot of our work comes through email. Yeah. Most of the time, it's pretty cut and dry, and we have a lot of artistic freedom. Most of the time, they like their stuff. But, every once in a while we get customers that are very particular. Like, they don't tell you out of the gate that they're very particular. You kind of find out, like, when you realize you send them a proof and they're like, oh, we don't like that. We want to do this. And it's like, okay, before I get started on this idea, let me make sure that this is exactly what you want. Yeah. So send me, it depends on the situation, of course, but send me examples through Google of, like, in terms of design, style, like what you're looking for. Because I also keep in mind, when I'm asking these questions, I have in my mind that these people don't really know exactly how to articulate what they want.
Yeah, exactly.
So I go, hey, go on Google and look up some T-shirt designs and send me those designs so I have some ideas, so I get an idea of exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And usually I could replicate stuff or, take from the designs they send me and make it into their own thing.
Yeah, source material is very, very important.
Yeah, I honestly, if people come at me with source material and I'm like, it's not necessarily that I'm copying it.
No.
It's just it's just inspiration.
Absolutely.
So,
I use source material for about probably half of what I do. Only because, one, I don't have a photographic memory. I'm one of those artists that, I forget a lot. I'm a little autistic, and so it's just and so it's like I need source material for a lot of the stuff that I do. And so I tell people, like, when they have me do their logos especially, because logos have to be so simple.
They're so
they cannot be busy. And so it's like with logos, I'm just like, send me the style that you like.
They have to be simple and bold.
Yes.
And stand out at the same time.
Exactly. And that's frustrating.
It depends on the customer. It depends on what they're allowing you to contribute.
Yeah.
Artistically. If they come in and they're like, we want you to do this.
Yeah.
Exactly like this. Then there isn't much room.
No.
But if they come to you and they're like, we need a logo.
Mm-hmm.
We do this. Do you have ideas how we should approach it? That's when... Yeah, you go, hey, you want something bold, you want something to stand out, you want something simple, you don't want anything too busy. So that's anybody who's looking to get a logo, those are the things they need to keep in mind. Something very simple, something very bold, something that sticks out.
Yeah.
But the mistake a lot of people make is they want to make these crazy, extravagant logos, and sometimes it works.
Sometimes.
It depends on the elements within the logo. Some elements pop out more than others, and the more complicated stuff can be, or the more complex design stuff can be kind of like a backdrop to that.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But there are some people that just like, they have no idea how, when you're trying to design something and it's like a brand, less is more, and that is a thing that
and that's something I try
understand.
to explain to people every single time they come to me with a logo idea, or they want a logo. I always tell them, you have to think about what it's going to look like printed on paper.
Yep.
You want this logo that is multicolored. Maybe you want a logo that looks like a brush just went on a piece of paper. What's that going to look like black, printed on paper? Yeah. It's going to look like shit.
Yeah.
And so I always try to recommend that, hey, let's go for a bold, flat logo.
Yeah.
I can put a texture on it in, like, post-production, but we have to think about what this thing looks like flat. And a lot of people, they're like, oh, I don't like that idea. I don't really like that style. Well, dude, you're wearing a Nike shirt. That swoosh is blank.
It's so simple.
Flat.
It's so simple.
And
There's
like,
a reason why.
Why do you think that person, why do you think you like Nike so much? Or why do you think you like Under Armour? Again, I'm going to the fitness stuff. But it's like, why do you think you like those logos so much? Because they're flat and they go on anything. Well, you have to think about, and our logo, Canvas logo, Prismatic logo, you can put that shit on anything, and it works.
It'll look good. One color, one solid color.
One color.
But you kind of gotta realize you're pretty much asking somebody to describe what they're about.
Yeah.
In like one or two words, and I don't know if you can do that. And I know like artsy is a very simple.
Yeah.
It's a very simple answer and it's very easy.
Yeah.
But if you had to in 2 words describe how you feel and what you're about, it's really difficult. And so when you have somebody who's like not even in tune with their emotions, or B, not in tune with their artsy side, or don't speak that creative language, like, I get it, dude, it's like fucking pulling teeth. You're asking somebody to express something that they have no tools to to be able to express to you,
and that's fine because they're running a business,
which is understandable.
They don't really have, they're trying to run a business. They're not really worried about. They know the value of having a brand and everything, but they don't know how to execute it.
They're not worried about art. They're worried about the meaning of what their brand represents,
which is understandable. But I've noticed, like with you, the headaches is when they think they know what they're doing.
That is the most frustrating thing I have to come into.
And it's like
every single time.
It's like you don't even know. It's like if somebody came to you speaking a native, like a random language, and then they were cocky about it, even though they don't know how to speak it. It's almost to the point where it's like semi-insulting.
Well, that's. I mean, it goes one way or the other. Personally, if I have a client that's they come in and they already think they know more than me, and they think that my ideas are crap, I'm gonna fire you. I mean, you think you could fire me? I'm gonna fire you.
Well,
we can fire you.
And then it's kind of like also,
that's a thing that could happen.
But it's like, why? Like, you just simply be like, okay, then why am I here? Like, what am I here for then? Because I know how to do Photoshop and Illustrator?
Yeah.
Like, is that the only reason why I'm here then?
Well,
can you please Photoshop my cat with a cosmic background, please? I've gotten that before, and it's frustrating.
Was it from Brad?
Yeah, it was from Brad.
No, not him. No, our Brad.
I would be surprised.
You're our Brad too. Sorry, that was really.
I'm not Brad 2. Okay?
No.
He's Brad 2. I'm Brad 1.
You're Brad 2.0, so you're better.
Okay.
Brad's gonna be so pissed. Dude, he was just texting me about the podcast.
Brad will probably listen to this. Hey, Brad, we love you.
Hey, I told Brad we need to have him on it.
Brad's okay.
That's gonna be a weird episode.
Yeah. Dude, get ready for that. Brad Gardner on our that shit's gonna get wild.
This is what he told me. I was like, hey dude, you should be on the podcast, and he put, yeah, so when I first wrote Toxic Piss, I was really missing my cat Dorothy. That's what he said.
I love it. So we're gonna be talking about his cat Dorothy a lot.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of logos, like, you know, like the frustration of like the complex logos was like, you know, you want to keep all that stuff in mind, but one thing people don't even take into consideration when you're making a logo, your logo doesn't have to be that. I mean, you send them the logo and that's it. It's like, no. Whenever I do logos for people, I design with in mind that, you know, you have the full color logo. Yeah. But you also have the black logo. Yep. You have the white logo. Mm-hmm. You have the grayscale logo. Yep. So that's obviously just a grayscale version of the color logo. But when it comes to like, you want to have that solid black, the solid white. Yeah. So that's another aspect of like making logos. Is you gotta approach it to where your logo can be applied to any form of media. I try
to design logos to where the font matches the actual logo itself, but I treat the font as important as the logo itself. So I end up sending like probably 13 different JPEG files of the font, the logo, then it's colored, then it's inverted to black and white, and then just I send so many files so they get a good feel of what this is going to be, and because it's designing a logo is so much more than just designing an icon, because that's all really a logo is. It's an icon. But then you have to design something in a font family that matches and represents that icon. And so,
font pairing is fucking so frustrating.
Dude.
But once you get it, it's like, yes. Like,
I know.
It feels so great.
I feel so accomplished that I found a font that it matches this branding element so properly to where they're so proud of it, and they can build a brand off of this idea that you created for them. It's so satisfying.
I do all my logos in Comic Sans or Wingdings.
Get out.
There you go. I know. Seriously, get out. Comic Sans.
Have you heard of
I deleted that shit off my computer.
Oh my god! Have you heard of a papyrus comic?
Yes,
comic papyrus
and Avatar, and oh my god,
it's futuristic yet tribal.
That was probably, I've never connected to an SNL skit so much in my life, and I've never paid attention to an SNL skit as much as I have this one. I was glued to the screen. My phone didn't exist at this point. There was no like, this is the first SNL skit where I was like, yes, yes, this is my pain.
Off-brand tease.
Thank you, Ryan Gosling. I've never loved Ryan Gosling so much.
I remember when that happened. Like, I was working at a design firm, and that shit was circulating like crazy because I can imagine. It was just like, oh my god, I relate too hard to that.
I sent that to my boss. My boss, his name is Bruce. My day job, I do work for somebody, and you know, my nighttime job, I'm the boss. Anyway, I sent it to my boss, who is just an advertising genius. It's like, there are times where I butt heads with him, but I sent him this font because I sent him this video, this SNL skit, because I knew he could relate to it. And he very rarely comes out of his office just to like tell me a joke or something like that. But he comes out and we have a 5-minute conversation about this SNL skit. And I'm just like, dude, I'm so glad that you can relate to this too,
man.
Anyway, Papyrus. Fuck Papyrus.
it almost feels like there are those certain fonts that just like they've lived their life, and anybody trying to keep using those fonts, it's just like, stop, please.
Yeah, please stop.
I mean, there are those fonts that are just timeless,
Yeah.
you know, that you can't really overuse because they're just so bland and so simple. But those ones that try and stick out but are so common, it's like, stop.
Yeah, I know. It may have worked when, you know, the guy who created that papyrus font, props to him, because at that time it probably worked in the 90s, but man, it doesn't work now.
It did not age well.
It did not age well.
Probably made a lot of money off Avatar, though.
Oh, for sure. But here's the thing. It's like, as times go on, like right now we're in a very, very bold font era of advertising. Bold font, colors is very, very apparent. I read this design study of 2018 where gradients in colors are the thing right now, and it's not going away anytime soon. Design trends, you know, gradient in colors going from a light blue. Huh? You can talk, Madison.
Sunglasses lenses are doing the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Madison, feel free. You're not excluded.
I'm not a part of this.
Madison has been
commenting on a trend.
Madison has been just chilling in the dark for a while. But yeah, no, it's same with glasses. But same with glasses. There's a gradient mesh to this.
Yeah.
You know, advertising nowadays, whatever is going to, you know, catch your eye. If it's a slight color change, people are going to be drawn into it. And with bold fonts, you know, that is such a thing that's in right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, 10 years ago, bold fonts were a big no-no in graphic design. It was like, you want to have subtlety to your words. That's why a lot of advertising was so soft, and, you know, but now it's like big, bold, colorful.
I mean, there's a balance to it. I mean, you got you know, bold, you know, titles, and then you got, you know, the pairing font, which is usually, you know, a lot thinner. I mean, you have a business say, you know, like Design Industries. Design is going to be bold.
Yeah.
Industries is going to be, you know, secondary.
Yeah.
Kind of along
Very
the bottom,
thin,
very
yeah.
thin. You know, it's going to be secondary. But
yeah, because you want the overall basis of what your business is. You want to be highlighted.
Yeah, definitely.
Very, very bold. I mean, design.
Well,
there's no questioning that.
Yeah. I mean, like, for example, I mean, my logo, Prismatic Studios. I mean, you have Prismatic bold. Yeah. I mean, it's Futura. It's modified. Yeah. I modified the font, which is, if you're an aspiring designer, learn how to modify
fonts. Do not get a font and use that unless you're just creating a quick T-shirt. If you're creating a logo, modify the damn font, make it your own.
Yeah.
Dude, I did that. Dude, when I was making beats, that's what I'd do. I'd get like a snare drum. I'd just get a stock snare drum, and then I would just pitch it super low. Yeah. And I'd swoop all the mids out of it, and then I made my own sound.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, it was super simple like that. All I'm saying is, I'm ready for bubble letters to come back.
No, that's not a thing.
Whatever, man.
Yeah. Go write music for the next Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie.
Yeah. All right, we've been talking about this for about a while.
Yeah.
Anything you have left to say, Brad?
Just come to the show next Tuesday. Jerry's Pizza,
Spooky Bash,
and Spooky Bash.
Wear
a costume.
Yeah, wear a costume.
Don't spend $10. I mean, if you want to spend $10,
you get half off if you wear a costume, and you know it's Halloween. Yeah. Why not?
If it's a super good one, I'll even pay for you to get into the show.
There you go.
One person, though.
Just one person. You
get one person. But it's got to be a really good one.
And you have to have listened to this podcast for you to know. So
yeah, straight up.
All
the way.
My standards are super high.
Yeah. Hey. But guys, thank you for listening to Canvas Cast episode 2.5 because, you know.
Well, I would say 2. The last one was 1.5.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you, Brad, for being here.
Yeah, man.
Listen to Kaybab. Listen to the new record, Habitats. It's a solid record. Definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
Go to these shows. Please go to these shows. And as always, check out Canvas. We still have some super dope hats, man. I wear mine daily. Yep. I'm not wearing it right now.
I'm wearing mine right now. They're dope. We have some shirts. End of summer sale is officially over, so sorry about that.
Get ready for that winter stuff in the works.
In the works. Don't know when it's going to drop yet, but we'll get there. So just keep on listening, like and subscribe, and be sure to follow Canvasware.
Are we going to play them out with the Monster Mash
yes,
too?
We're going to play out with the Monster Mash.
Get ready for the Monster Mash.
In post-production, I'm going to put it in the beginning and the end.
So the whole song?
This is the mash.
The whole song?
This is the Monster Mash. This is the mash. This is a graveyard smash.
Real quick. What's a graveyard smash?
It's
you
you dig up the grave and then you smash
not-
that shit. Dog.
All right, we're done.
I was gonna go somewhere really wrong. Graveyard Smash, but yeah, you just covered it.
There
so.
you go. Yeah.
All right, thank you
All right,
guys.
guys, thanks.
Thank you.